What's up, everyone? It's
With a
Gabby
local
Trace here,
team
and
based
welcome
in
back to the
Dubai,
channel.
forex.com
Well,
gives you
Bitcoin at
easy
6
access
months
to
low.
CFD markets
Is that a
across
crash
indices,
that's
commodities,
coming,
local
or
and
are we
global
going to see
stocks, plus
some
weekend
recovery
crypto CFD
next?
trading.
This is what
Enjoy
we're here to
spreads
find
as
out
low as
today. But before we get
0.0
rolling,
on
don't
major
forget to
FX
smash
pairs
that
with a
like
raw
button,
spread
you guys.
account.
Subscribe
Our
if you're new
ultimate
here,
parent company,
and hit the
StoneX,
small bell
a
notification
Fortune
so you
100
always
company.
get notified
And
when
claim
I'm
a
live
welcome bonus
here
up to
with you.
$5,000,
First of all, I
all
want to
on a
say
platform with multilingual
GM to
support.
everyone in the chat.
Forex.com.
Okay,
Global
whatever.
access,
What
trusted
is that
expertise.
now? I genuinely have no idea. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. See, that's the thing. When I start like two streams on X and also here is like, oh. Okay, cool. Anyway, are we good now? Ads are gone, so I think we can proceed. Honestly, I'm not used to streaming on YouTube and on X at the same time, so this is why we're having these issues right now, but that's okay. So guys, let me know in the chat box if we're good, if everything's okay, if the music is too loud or not loud enough. Give me just 1 second because this morning has been a little crazy. Yes. Okay. Yes, it's not very helpful, Stanimir. I need to know with a little bit more precision if that makes sense. But you know what? I think everything is fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right, you guys, I'm gonna need you to restart the chat box so I can see everyone is here and we're all good. Good morning, King Tony. Good morning, Monkey Van. All right, great. Okay, panic mode off. Where are we right now? So basically the fear and greed index is for crypto sitting around 14, way worse than the stock market, which is currently at 22. Both are sitting at extreme fear, you guys. So when we have the extreme fear, really, it doesn't mean that a crash is absolutely guaranteed, but what it means is that the traders are positioned nervously right now. So the moves can be very fast in both directions when we have this sort of sentiment. So that means we can get a bounce or we can continue down, which is always the case, right? But when we're in extreme fear, this can be even higher swings, right? It just signifies major nervousness. So in regards to the news, I've digged around and found out that, you know, there's few things that are potentially worrying that I'm not sure if I can even mention here so we don't get canceled or whatever, because I've seen it happening to other channels. But basically the idea is that we are facing some oil risks again, and that is coming from Ukraine and also Iran, right? So the least favorable places to hear in regards to these sort of news. But again, there is some problems with some drones into a Russian oil export hub. So obviously, you know, that is going to push the oil prices higher. At the same time, we have similar situation, well, not exactly, but with Iran, right, where they have seized a tanker near the Strait of Hormuz. So, you know, and we all know that that's a key global shipping lane. So yeah, anything that relates to oil, when we get higher oil prices, that it's immediately going to signal that we're getting high inflation signals. You're getting higher yield signals, and that is obviously going to cause, you know, pressure on tech and crypto, right? And the inflation is important for the upcoming potential rate cuts. So then I continue digging on in the news, and then it just, as I do that, it just gets more and more depressing, to be honest. But anyways, here we are. Well, basically we have more Americans losing their homes, foreclosures jump 20%. What's driving it? So basically what's happening is that we had a jump of 20% year over year, with over 36,000 filings in October, right? So that is essentially the eight high close straight high monthly increase of these nearly 37,000 actually over here. So this is, what is that showing? right? What is that showing? Well, that's showing immediately that the consumer is starting to feel the strain from the higher rates and the higher rising costs. Is that correct? So, you're having one situation with the oil. You're reading about the oil news, and then you come and you read these sort of news. Foreclosures. What does that mean? Well, that means that the Americans can't afford their mortgages, right? So it's not very great news to hear. But both are conflicting news when in terms of the rate cuts. So again, as usual, they're keeping us confused, right? One is saying, hey, maybe we should lower rates. The other one is saying, maybe not. So that's what we're facing. But that's always the case with news usually. Now the interesting thing is, right, gold's moves in lockstep with the U.S. stocks could point a brewing market danger. Now we usually know that gold is a safe haven, right? So when you see the gold and the stocks moving together, that's really a sign of market stress, right? And we've also already seen that with Bitcoin, right? Because we've seen Bitcoin is broken lower, and that clearly means that there is a broader risk-off mood at the moment. So when you think about it, with respect to all what's happening right now, in that risk environment, the first thing you're going to think of, okay, maybe now it's not the best time for, a large position sizing. Maybe I have to be selective with what I trade, right? Maybe I have to expect fake outs because we're in a situation of extreme fear right now, right? And most importantly, what I always say, have the levels planned before any breakout happens or any breakdown happens. All right, so I will continue to say that that's the most important in these kind of environments. Good morning, Debbie. Right. In terms of the economic calendar, actually, we have a big week ahead. So I would expect volatility for sure. Most important day is Wednesday. Not only because we have the FOMC minutes, we also have the NVIDIA earnings that are going to come after the bell, right? After the bell. So let's have a look at what the AI sector is going to give us, right? In terms of the FOMC meeting minutes, we know that that's important. Thursday, Friday, we also have important key labor data. So what do we know about that? Well, we know if we have stronger data, the yields are going to go up, and that's going to pressure the tech, which we essentially don't want, right? But then again, if you get a weaker data, then you get recession fears and maybe more choppiness ahead. So this is kind of what we're seeing here on a Monday. Correct. So yeah, it wasn't very pretty over the weekend for crypto. It hasn't been very pretty for the stocks either. Good morning, Bassi. So let's go ahead and jump straight into Bitcoin, right? Let's jump straight into Bitcoin and see. So first observation over here, you guys, is as well what I said on Discord. By the way, if you haven't liked this video, like the video. If you haven't joined Discord, join Discord. You can find it under the description box of this video. It's completely for free to do that, okay? So first thing that's important to note, and I mentioned on Discord, is the levels, right? We watch the levels. So we have levels. Once you lose one level, we say we're going to travel straight down to the next level, which is pretty much what we're seeing. And then price starts to range in that sort of level for us to maybe get an opportunity to long, or maybe get an opportunity to short, right? For a continuation. So it's clearly extremely bearish right now. There is absolutely no reason for us to start longing besides that we're at key levels. But remember, we were at key levels for quite some time, right? Few weeks, we were at key levels. We were at key levels at 107. We were at key levels at 100. And now we're at our following key level in between 94 and 96K Bitcoin, right? So this is pretty much one line of defense that we're dealing with right now. The further line of defense that we could be potentially dealing with in the near future is around 89K Bitcoin. Now, that's very ugly, right? Because that means that we're pretty much deleting the entire gains that we've created from 2025. Okay, so it's getting really uncomfortable. Like, I'm getting very uncomfortable in this kind of environment. So on a weekly time frame, yesterday when we had the call, we have weekly Sunday calls with the course trading group. You guys, if you haven't got, if you didn't buy my course, go and get it, because it's just $200 and you have lifetime access. Use discount code weightless40. Okay, before I turn it into a subscription, make sure you use it right now, because that means you have lifetime access to it. After that, you won't be having that. All right. So I highly recommend go in the description box of the YouTube video and find it. If you're on X, you can find it in my bio. It's very helpful. We've already, anyone that signed up has left a review, and it's just people are loving it. All right. So that's my recommendation. And then also, we were discussing on Sunday, right? Because we were trading in between this weekly fair value gap over here. So we wanted to see the weekly kind of reverse, and that didn't happen. So then obviously we said, if that's not the case, this low is potentially going to go within the buy zone. So that means take the low and then potentially bounce from here. So that's pretty much exactly what happened. Textbook, right? This is what happens at levels. We get textbook trades, right? So if you are a high risk taker and you like these things, after you've been educated on what you should do in that kind of environment, that's a very nice trade, actually, if you want to punt it on a high leverage. Anyways, all right. So the thing is, right now, weekly looks absolutely terrible. Daily doesn't really look that bad. All right. Within the daily time frame, what we can hope for is for today to have a jump and start trading a little bit higher, right? We want to close the day higher. We want to close the day roughly about $95,000 Bitcoin plus. If that happens, that's going to be kind of positive news, because that is going to be further confirmation that we indeed might get a relief rally to, at the very least, retest the levels of resistance, the 12-hourly SR flip zones, 98, 9900, in the best case scenario, 104. Which is going to be a retest of the 3-month open, which has already proven to be extremely weak. So a retest of that area could also be another short opportunity for us. So that needs to be clear, right? But this is what we're dealing with today. Usually Monday for me is a no trade day. Am I longs right now? Yes, I am. I have few assets. Good morning, Dub Bosons. We have new people in the chat box. I love it. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and say hi in the chat box, because I remember everyone and I love seeing you guys here every day with me, because we have to be here every day. That's what we do. That's at least my life. So, right, this is what I'm expecting right now. I want to see a little bit of strength on the 4-hour time frame, potentially. Let's have a look. What are the sweeps showing us? Not much strength at the moment, but it would be very, very nice if we get a close on the daily today above 95K. That's going to be my first green flag. Okay. Then secondly, if I look at this chart and I'm waiting for the true week open, which is going to happen later today, that's clearly going to be a bullish opening, right? It's clearly going to be a bullish opening for me. So in that case, I think tomorrow, maybe I could continue to add to some positions or maybe open some new positions, but that's what I'm thinking. I think that this week is hopefully going to be some sort of a relief rally week. But you guys know very well that the first week of the month is also very, very telling in terms of bias. And we had a bearish bias this week, and we continue to have bearish distribution. So yeah, If this continues to play out like that from here, literally, if we continue the bearish distribution, the next point of interest is going to be around 89K Bitcoin. All right. It's really, really that simple at the moment. Ethereum. So if I look at ETH, right, on the weekly, fine, we're still maintaining this weekly bullish fair value gap over here, so that's not too bad. We haven't really closed the body below it. We've wicked the area, so that's okay. $3,000 to the tick, or $301, $302, whatever the hell, right? But again, you know, even though it's not part of our SR flip zones, if you come back and check where price is reacting from, you can potentially say that yes, we had that level fail quite a few times, right? Before we broke it, we made that high, and then we just never managed to go back to it. So we're retesting pretty much the first strongest breakout of the $3,000 area. So it's only natural that you're going to get some bids in that zone. Does that make sense? On a weekly, absolutely nothing. On a daily, potentially, right? Potentially we can start reversing. You know, honestly, if I go back and I look at this whole structure over here, ETH is genuinely going to be fine even if it drops to 2,900, right? It doesn't mean that everything is over and the bull market is over. It could potentially do that. The only thing that I really, really hate is that we finally, with last week, we confirmed the bearish close below the major area, 3,500 for Ethereum. This is the one thing that we didn't want to see, that we were hoping that's not going to happen, but it did happen. So here we are. Price is very weak at the moment, and that's not good. Okay, it's definitely not good at all. So if we fail right now, you know, the next line of defense for Ethereum is going to be 2,900, 2,800 approximately, right? This is a very, very important area. Because if we fail that, which honestly I don't think we will, but if we fail that, boy oh boy, we're looking like not so great after that, if that happens. Okay, so yeah, the best thing we can do is position ourselves very, very conservatively at areas of interest. If everything seems to be at areas of interest, right? We swept the liquidity on Sol. Is that the last thread though? Is it the last one? Well, not really. I think weekly over here looks even more terrible, right? Even more horrible. So yeah, it's definitely not the best time of my life at the moment, or anybody's life that's in crypto. But this is what we're dealing with, right? And we are in extreme fear, and extreme fear can't be an opportunity. Okay, can't be, whatever. ETH BTC, we're still protecting, right? We're still protecting our levels at 0.03187. If we fail, we know the next level for that, where it stands. Bitcoin dominance didn't manage to break through the sell zone, so essentially it's still a valid sell zone, right? We are potentially in an area that we could break, so let's see if we continue to drop down, because that might give some relief for the altcoins as well, which is going to be good if that happens, right? In terms of USDT dominance, now this has more space to run, in my opinion. For me, ideally, we're going to see a more substantial drop after we reach the area of 6.24. So I'm very aware of that. So I'm monitoring that area. If we continue to fail, this is definitely an area that I would be heavily monitoring at a point if we start getting close to it. Does that make sense? So USD dominance also important to monitor. By the way, you guys, make sure to put any altcoins that you want me to check in the chat box right now. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and check how many likes we have today. Hopefully we're good on likes. We have almost 50 people watching. Again, we have a disgusting ad. 34 likes. No description has been added to this video. Are you kidding me right now? This is so annoying, you guys. So annoying. All right, so everyone that's live here right now, I'm gonna fix the description after, but make sure to check the chat box because Stanimir is putting links for Discord and for the course, you guys, which Stanimir also bought yesterday. So I'm really excited about him as well. Okay, so we need we need a little bit more likes over here, and we need everyone to check the chat box, the live chat box for all the links. Okay, for all the links, very important. Then I'm gonna go ahead and look at say yeah, I mean, essentially this is the area that you're interested in right now, right? I mean, you had an area here, but like you're majorly retesting it, so this is more important. So let's move these ones on the side for a little bit. The triangular formations are always going to be the predominant things that I watch on my chart. How do you get these triangular formations? Well, you use the Gabi liquidity indicator. Okay. Oh, Stanimir already put it in the chat box. That's crazy. But anyway, major level for say 0.1469. That level has been major for quite a while, so it continues to be major. We've already retested it the beginning of November. We haven't had so far a second retest of it, but I would heavily monitor that level. On a low leverage, I think it's a good try, right? And you can construct a trading plan thanks to the trading indicators. So of course, you have to be very low leverage, but you have a point that you know could be retested, and that's 0.13. Okay. But you know, the bets could resume at 0.1469, which you've essentially already tapped. So yeah, it might be a case of that was it, that was the tap, or it might be a case of retests of the levels further down. Does that make sense? Link. I mean, definitely at a weekly level of interest. Definitely at a weekly level of interest, 1000%. Right now, if we exclude the liquidation wick, which tapped into a buy level that starts at $8. So let's pretend it didn't happen, which is kind of hard, but it is what it is for now. You have pretty much no bullishness at the moment, besides this little range over here. After this low has swept some liquidity over here, so potentially you have a case down here. But for me, preferably 12.99, 12.62, 67, 12.5, right? These would be the retest area. So if it starts bouncing from here, it will be a little bit like from the higher time frame perspective, right? From the higher time frame perspective, which is essentially an area between $14 and $12.7, right? So that's a high time frame zone. Good morning, Zhivko. LTC. Yes, you guys, sorry, the description box is empty. I don't know. I'm just still trying to work it out of how I can do all these things, but you can find in the live chat box. So come on YouTube, say hi in the live chat box. You can find all the links. Make sure to join the course because it's very helpful. I've put enough videos for everyone to have enough to start on their trading journey with extra educational videos. So you guys, honestly, make use of that while it's still $200. And then join Discord because I will probably next year I will be restructuring a lot of the things in regards to Discord, in regards to the course. So I recommend just get in as early as possible. Yeah, so LTC, I kind of like this level for LTC. So my hope was that $100 is going to hold, but no, we're coming back. We're retesting the buy zone over here. So yeah, I'm interested for LTC to hold the zone in between like $95 and $90 with a strong support at $88. So this is how you'd construct your trading plan, having all these things in mind. And then if we fail the $88, the next line of defense is or next line for potential support, 79, and then you go to $70. So these are kind of the areas for LTC that I'm looking out for at the moment. All right. Do we have any other coins that you guys want to see? Lenin, all charts are nuked. I know, mate. I know. Tell me about it. I mean, I've been watching it very, very carefully. And to be honest, I would have liked to have closed some out. So, for example, LTC long that I didn't close. I have a SOL long that's playing right now. My Bitcoin long is in drawdown. My Ethereum long is fine because I got tagged at around 3,000 something. Zcash is doing fine. Zcash is doing fine. Why do I have so many charts on Zcash? Oh my god, I have no idea what to open. It's doing fine. Someone was telling me Zcash cup and handle on the 4-hour time frame, which I guess is this, but I'm not sure it's exactly a cup and handle that we're seeing right now. Potentially, but yeah, this is in bullish distribution, very strong, with the only potential sell zone right now, which is here. In between these two lows, but again, the way that this chart is distributing on the 12-hour time frame, this is still bullish for me. But yeah, it has a potential to manipulate. So after this doji that you're seeing right now here on the 12-hour, you're seeing a sell-off. So yeah, that could be a clear manipulation for continuation up to take this high over here. Because the asset is bullish, right? This sort of retrace, tap into a zone, into a an order block on the higher time frame, 12-hour time frame. This is bullish, right? Had it closed below that zone, then maybe I'll be like, okay, that's not very bullish, that's bearish. But the reaction from it matches the attitude of this distribution, right? Obviously, this was a little bit of a deeper correction, but the rejection from this block over here is extensively bullish, right? So currently you're dealing with a little bit of resistance on the 4-hour time frame, but that in no shape or form, in my opinion, is that going to mean that we are going to sell off from here, right? For this chart, I would increasingly be looking at, the 12-hour time frame and not lower time frame than that. So essentially, if you look at the overall picture, this asset is bullish until proven otherwise, right? Until proven otherwise, which in that case is honestly trading below $440 approximately, which is a lot of a lot of time. And before that, liquidity will be grabbed at the highs for sure. Is there a promo code for the course? Because the price is now 315 and talk about two. Yes, you need to put waitlist 40. That's the promo code, waitlist 40. Good morning from Germany. Guten Morgen. You know, I've lived in Germany as well, in Berlin. That's where I studied. I actually, besides of the crazy studies that I did, which was politics, I also did study a bit of Chinese, Mandarin. What do we have here? H bar is very hard. Very hard. But at the end, I was able to say where I'm from and how many brothers and sisters I have. We're going to look at H bar. Since I move it, maybe we'll move it back a little bit in a second to look for Zcash entries. Yeah, so H bar actually hasn't reached my area of interest yet, which is at 0.14075. That's sort of one area I'm looking for on H bar. 0.14075, one area that I'm looking on H bar. Second area that I'm looking on H bar would be 0.12. But yeah, it's very close to it. So, you know, you have absolutely no reason to long here yet. Unfortunately, maybe if we start trading and claim a little bit of levels today / tomorrow, 0.15500, maybe, you know, but until then, and even if that happens, it could be a case of us just retesting some levels and then dropping down to one of both, right? 0.125 or 0.14075. These are the two. Berlin is in sehr schön Stadt. Yeah. I was so good with my German. I still actually I know German, but like not that well. It is a very good city. I love it. If we get one more weekly close below 200 EMA, the bull market is over. NFA says King Tony. So yeah, you know, I know that we have the death cross, right? 50 EMAs, 200 EMAs, and I've kept saying to you guys, oh nice, I kept saying that the death cross is a very lagging indicator. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. Back in 2022, I think, you know, it really doesn't work, you guys. Like you've had a dead cross, then you made the lows. Even I think for Bitcoin, like literally around the true year open down here, right? We had a death cross over here, panic. Literally a few days after we bottomed, you know. So it might be a good thing that we're having a death cross, you know what I mean? Like it might be our first, you know, sign that we might be bottoming. Okay, so that's how I'd look at it. It's very retail, I guess. Listen, you guys, make sure to join Discord. You can find the link under the description box. If you're not live, it's going to be in the description box. If you're live, you're going to find the link in the chat box. Make sure to join. It's free. All you need to do is you can use, if you're already a user of Bluffin, you can just send me your UID. If you're not, you can use my link to register and claim your VIP role, or Pionix, either of both exchanges that I'm partnered with. We stick to English, yes. Auk. Yeah, that's what I thought, Aaron. Did we have Glad Gorilla? I missed a notification. Yes, we're going back to Zcash because everyone is FOMOing. That's why I don't want to trade it, because it's like a, you know, a FOMOing type of thing, which is not my vibe. Okay. So 1 hour time frame, you would potentially have a little bit of a drop down here. So Zcash from here on, I think my area of interest after this drop would be literally either after this drop, straight after this drop, to clear that liquidity. So in between 615 and 628, with a potential drop back down to you know, I can refine the area, I can refine it maybe potentially, but I would really like to look at the whole area here. So depending on how you trade, what's your sort of leverage that you're using, these are the two areas that I would be interested in for a long. So that would be 615, 626, and anywhere between 573 to 601, really. Okay. And if these fail, which I doubt is going to be the case, but if it happens, then you're looking at the following liquidity down here and repositioning yourself within that area, because you have some support down here. Down here. Let's look at the 4 hour, 1 sec. This is the 4 hour line of defense over here. Let's look on the one that's just above liquidity. You have double bottom over here, so I'll definitely be looking at this area instead. Yeah, so you have one goal in this area and second goal down here, obviously at the 12-hourly support, where a similar situation could occur. Really, that will happen with the 12-hour on the retest here. You can have a retest here and then just continue, right? Weekly is looking absolutely fine. This asset is bullish on the weekly, no issues at all. But yeah, lower time frame, these are sort of the areas that I'll be looking at. Does that make sense? No FOMO. Yes, mind. We have a therapist here. Barony, Kyle from Crypto Banter said we at most get a complacency bounce, BTC to 80s, and we bounce from there a bit. Next stop, bear market. Is that what Kyle said? Yeah, I actually saw him like a couple weeks ago, but I haven't asked for his opinion or watched his videos lately, to be honest, because I don't have time to watch other creators' videos. I don't really care to watch it because I care about my analysis only, to be fair. I'm going to look at ICP in 1 second, but let's just discuss this brainy adventures. So complacency bounce is very highly likely to occur, right? It's very highly likely to occur. Do you trade any futures with prop firms? I used to. Yes, I used to be big on prop firms, but not at the moment, because that's like a full-time job, you know, to do that. And since I'm on YouTube now, it's kind of different. What was I going to say? Yeah, listen, in regards to the complacency bounce, we're absolutely in an area to consider a complacency bounce. If we drop to 80K, that is going to bring us to the true year open, back at the levels of true year open. Honestly, this is, you know, of course, extremely bearish. And yeah, bounces could happen from there. Maybe altcoins could pick up. I don't know if that's the case, but that is definitely see how we talk about levels, one level after the other, one level after the other. You are at 100K, that was one level. 107 was another level. Now you're at 95, that's another level. If we lose it, the next level is 89K. If we lose it, the next level is 78K Bitcoin. All right, which is the year open. So basically we're erasing all of the gains that we have made since, April. Does that make sense? I'm honestly like shocked that that's what we're dealing with right now. But that's what we're dealing with right now. So, all right. Just wanted to say I really love your course. Money well spent. If you want to learn, I highly recommend King Tony. Thank you, King Tony. I know actually, you know what my problem is? I am not very good salesperson, so I'm not here to sell you, to shill you. I think that's crazy, and I'm very bad at doing it. I know that everyone's hard-earned money have been played with very, very hard in this cycle, be it from other influencers or be it from the markets themselves. So, you know, I feel very bad for everyone, including myself. I also lost a lot of money this cycle. So, you know what I mean? And I didn't want to release the course at all because the market was doing so bad. And I was just like, what's the point of doing it? Because people can't afford it. And then I don't remember who, but someone came on Discord and wrote me, leverage Larry. That was Larry. Larry sent like an essay of why I should release the course and how it's going to help people. So I actually went and did it because his message really motivated me to do it. So I did it really for you guys, okay? I didn't want to do it at all. I didn't have time to do it. I wasn't bothered to do it at all because I know my stuff and that's enough for me. If you want to watch my YouTube and find the levels, go ahead, do it. I gave you that option. I give it to you continuously every day. But Larry said, you have to go and give that to your audience because they will make use of it. And I was like thinking about, oh my God, that's true. You know, because at the beginning I had like 300 people on the wait list. And guys, I've only sold 30 so far, which is exactly what I expected. Because after the, you know, the crash, I thought nobody's gonna, you know, be able to afford it. So that's why I made it super affordable, $200 lifetime access right now. But that is going to change, right? That is going to change because these are my personal strategies that I have, you know, not all of them, obviously, but the RTM specifically is something that I've developed for myself. And I'm just like giving it out for like $200. It breaks my heart, honestly. But whatever, right? I mean, I promise I'm going to do it. So I'm doing it. And the fact that, you know, you guys are not getting it, frankly, I'm a little offended. So now I'm even like, why did I release it? You know what I mean? I knew it, like I shouldn't have done it. But anyway, you know, it's done. So yeah, for sure. If you want to be profitable, that's it. Yeah, for sure. Because it gives you like a direct, you know, framework. You know what to look for every single day, right? You're not lost on the charts and you know what to do. Anyways. So, right, this is going to be crazy. Like if we come back, you know, and retest through your open, honestly, I think that's absolutely insane. But yeah, we never know what's going to happen. We never know what's going to be next. Word on Wall Street is that we're going to get 3 rate cuts until the end of the year. So that means that we're expecting a rate cut in December as well. So all the news that we're getting right now, it's all a distraction. It's all distraction. You see one very strong piece of news, you know, that it's not supporting the rate cuts. And then you turn around and open the next article, very strong piece of news, you know, that's supporting rate cuts. So it's all contradictory. And you're just like, you know, hit the like button, you guys. Yes, make sure to share the stream also with your friends because that's what I want to do, right? That's what I want to do. I want to grow this YouTube channel. I'm stubborn about it. I want to do it. That's why I'm doing it. I could be doing a million other things, but I kind of, when I start something, I want to see it through. You know what I mean? So that's what I want right now. Yeah. Do you know how much $200 is in a country where the ratio is 18 to 1? It's rent per month on a house with 3 bedrooms. Bledo Ramstad. Yeah, I mean, I know that. Do you care to know how much my rent is? Because you probably faint. Yeah, Brainy Adventures is an insane brain game, said Brainy Adventures. Trump comes out this week and says no taxes on crypto. Yeah. You know, actually the world has turned completely insane. I also was watching I was listening to a podcast talking about how young Americans can't afford apartments and flats anymore. So basically, it went on to say that the average age of a home buyer in the US, it's now 40 years old, right? 40 years old. And that's because people, they can't afford to begin with. They have huge student debts, right? So they have huge student debts. They can't afford a house. 40-year-olds can only afford houses now, apparently, even if they can. The reason for all of this happening is because of the high student debts that everyone has, the low paid jobs that they get, and the very expensive cities that they live in. That's another thing. So it's like a complete rat race at the moment, and you can't win. And also the governments, soon as they get involved, it apparently gets worse, right? So come government, fix the housing problem. Government comes in, more restrictions on building new houses. Developers are capped in how much rent they can put, or owners, they're capped. So essentially developers are not incentivized to build new households. So what does that mean? We don't have any new households built, and everyone that owns a house, it's an older person. Older people, generation whatever, the boomers, right? The boomers own the houses, for example, and they won't let go because they don't want to. Who wants to sell a house at the current stage of the economy? Who wants to sell their house? Nobody wants to sell their house. So all the boomers are, you know, keeping their assets tight. They don't want to sell. The new developers don't want to build new households. The younger person can't afford a house because they want to live in London. They want to live in New York, right? But, you know, they just can't afford it because they have a huge student debt on their backs, hanging on their backs, and they also are not earning enough money. And, you know, they want to go out, they want to have fun. Impossible. So the stage that we are currently in, it's absolutely insane. So if you're a younger person and you don't own anything, don't feel bad, because this is like what most of us are dealing with right now. And you know what I hate? I hate because these young people are getting advice from their moms and dads, and they have a completely different outlook on what's happening right now. And they live in their times still. So the advice that these kids are getting is very, very bad, you know? So yeah, it's a complete rat race, and it's very hard, especially for the young people. So this is what we're dealing with right now. It's sad, but it's the truth. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. How many of you actually own a house? You know? How many of you actually own a house? If you were sensible and saved your money, you will pay tax on it probably by 26. I do. Only 5% of Bitcoin total supply remains to be mined. The hardest money in history, getting scarcer by the day. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Alex R, I like Oklahoma. I mean, honestly, like if you think about it, how cheap it is, for example, like in Texas, and they also mentioned in the podcast actually that I was listening to. You know, you can get a house for like 4 bedrooms for like $300,000. So when I bought my first flat in the UK, you guys, in London, right? It was 600 square feet. Okay. Which is tiny, and it was 550,000 pounds. So that's like almost $900,000. I could get a 10-bedroom house in the US for that amount of money. Obviously, you have to pay tax on it, but I mean, yeah, it's insane. Like I honestly like is it possible to get TA for theoretical complacency bounce from your side? Sure, absolutely. And I think I gave that to you at the beginning of the video, but for the purposes of anyone that's new here and just joined, sorry, we had a bit of a chat about the world and what's happening right now. But I'm gonna say to you, watch the beginning of the video as well. If you're new here, make sure to like the video. Make sure to come on Discord, join Discord while you can for free with your UID, okay? You have to be trading on Bluffin. If you already trade on Bluffin, just give me your UID. Or if you want to register on Pionex, you can do it. To get your VIP on Discord is very easy on how you can do it, to join my community, to support me. And then, yeah, let's talk about a complacency theoretical bounce. So we're sitting at a zone of interest right now for Bitcoin, right? Is this one between 94 and 96K on a daily time frame. I would like the daily candle today to close above 95K. That is going to be one of 2 confirmations that we're currently getting that we might see a complacency bounce. Secondly, we're trading heavily below the true month open. So later today on a Monday, you're getting the true week open, which is going to be bullish in that sort of environment if that happens. So then we can proceed to look for further retracements. Now, these retracements from here are going to be always traded up to 98K, 99, 100K. These are the resistance zones, right? With 100K being the most preferable one. And then the second zones are going to be, of course, 102. And then you start at the max sort of extension you can get to the true month open. Now, if we break the true month open and we start treating it as support, that could prove to be even more bullish, okay? Even more bullish, all right? You know, on a weekly time frame though, for this drop to be completely disregarded, prices need to trade above 115,000 Bitcoin. Does that make sense? That's okay. The other thing is, many people are obsessed with owning a house. The money they put in a mortgage can be invested. Some countries like Swiss don't believe in land owned. They invest wise. Yeah, I only you know, I understand that as well. But a lot of people don't know how to invest as well. And for a good reason, right? Because they don't, the matrix wants them to not be able to invest, to not have any financial education whatsoever, to not understand what yield means. So yeah, this is where we are at the moment, unfortunately. You know? All right, let me restart and see how many likes we have over here. No description of this video. This is so annoying, you guys. Honestly, like I am definitely going to check why this happened today. We have 52 likes. Love it. Check the chat box for all the links. If you're live, if you're not live, under the description box, you're gonna find all the links. And again, Glad Gorilla, let's retire in Greece, Portugal, or Latin America. I can't stand Spanish. I think it's the most annoying language on planet Earth, but that's just me. And I've studied a lot of languages and I just can't. I understand a lot of it. I know a lot of words, obviously. I understand most of it, but good morning, Ari. It's just not for me. It's not for me. Yeah, not for me. Definitely not. I'm a bit more weird. I'd prefer German, Dutch over it any day of the week. You know. Yeah. You guys are probably like, you're crazy, you're crazy. No, no. I'm a very particular person. Very particular. Trevor, Thailand for me. Nah. I'm not effing with the lizards. I'm not a big lizard person. You know? I also don't like very wet. London is done with as far as the housing goes. I've lived here all my life. Hopefully not for long. Oh, you know, our therapist wants to leave London. They need you. They need you in London. What about Nvidia earnings? Will it cause the market to explode further? See, Nvidia earnings are on Wednesday after the bell. So we're gonna see how that goes. Usually the expectations are very high for Nvidia. Usually, right? Nvidia's expectations are very, very high. So technically the disappointments can be more than usual. It's what happens normally. Let's not forget also Michael Burry, Scion fund manager, the big short guy. Okay, he's also going around and talking that he's opening. By the way, you know what's crazy? CNBC, they went out and said that Michael Burry opened a short for 900 million. So of course you're like, oh my god, that's $1 billion, and you pay attention to it, especially coming from him, who obviously caught the big short. But that big short took him 2 years, by the way, to catch. So now he's saying that, you know, the big techs are cooking books like Palantir and stuff like that. But you know, lots of analysts are arguing that that's probably not the case, because it's 2025 and you go around and think, okay, do you really expect in 2025 companies like Palantir and Nvidia to be cooking the books? I don't think so, you know. And he doesn't strike me as the most technical guy, so he probably doesn't understand what he's talking about that much. And my theory was, at the beginning, as soon as I saw it, my theory was that he was just trying to gain attention to his fund and use it as a marketing strategy, which of course can be the case. But anyway, his short is only 9 million. It's not 900,000. Sorry, 900 million. All right. Where do you see the moon charts again? You can Google them or whatever. I'm sure there is some indicators on TradingView as well. Thursday is a bare moon. Oh my goodness. Well, Wednesday is going to be a big day. Thursday, we're also going to have some news. So all of these things we're watching out closely today. Let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens today. Let's see how we open. That's what I'm interested in. But mainly, you guys, honestly, if we continue this drop, I'll be heavily monitoring 6.2 USDT. Dominance, and of course this area as well, right? So 6.24 and 6.5, 6.7. True, they don't know how to invest. Yeah, they don't. All right, you guys. Well, it was very nice to chat with you all and talk about all these different things that are worrying us and that are very important about the world around us. I'm glad we're all on the same page. Again, make sure to join Discord. Make sure to get the course. I'm going to say it again, wait list 40. This is what you want to be adding to your checkout so you can get it for $200 lifetime access. All right. I'm gonna move it to a subscription-based thing. I'm gonna change Discord. That's all of these things I'm planning to do into next year. So the earlier you are, the better. Okay. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad it was helpful for you. And as usual, I wish you a great rest of your day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.